Welcome back to ABC General Hospital Spoilers channel. Today, we will learn about the shocking twists unfolding in Port Charles as Anna Devane faces an unexpected ambush that could change everything. Excitement is building in the world of General Hospital as the week of November 3rd to 7th kicks off November sweeps with high-stakes drama that promises to keep viewers on the edge of their seats. In a chilling sequence teased in the latest promo, the seasoned WASB agent and Port Charles Police Commissioner, Anna Devane, finds herself in grave peril right inside her own vehicle. As she sits behind the wheel, perhaps deep in thought about her latest leads on a shadowy conspiracy, a mysterious figure creeps up from behind, pressing a chloroform-soaked cloth over her mouth and nose. The screen fades to black amid her muffled struggle, leaving fans gasping at the implications of this brazen kidnapping. Who could orchestrate such a bold move against one of the town's most formidable investigators? With the attacker's identity shrouded in secrecy, the possibilities swirl like a storm over the harbor, hinting at betrayals, revenge plots, and long-buried secrets resurfacing in explosive fashion. Diving deeper into this riveting plotline, Anna's vulnerability stems from her relentless pursuit of truth in matters that hit too close to home for powerful enemies. Recently, she's been unraveling threads connected to Caesar Faison's enigmatic final endeavors, a project shrouded in espionage and illicit experiments that could topple empires. Her car, a symbol of her independence and mobility in a city full of deceit, becomes the perfect trap isolated, unsuspecting, and away from the prying eyes of allies like Robert Scorpio or Felicia Cummings. Imagine the tension. Rain-slicked streets reflecting neon lights from the docks, Anna reviewing encrypted files on her dashboard tablet, oblivious to the shadow lurking in the rearview mirror's blind spot. This isn't just an assault, it's a calculated strike to silence her before she exposes a web of corruption that reaches into the highest echelons of international intrigue. As the chloroform takes hold, her world blurs, and Port Charles braces for the fallout. Will her disappearance spark a frantic search involving Dante Falconeri and the PCPD, or draw in unexpected saviors from her global network? Now, let's speculate on the shadowy assailant, starting with the prime candidate who has history with ambushing law enforcement, Jack Brennan. This cunning operative, once a thorn in Anna's side during her WASB days, embodies the cold precision of a man who's evaded capture time and again. Remember how he previously struck from the shadows against the commissioner, leaving her dazed and one step behind? Promos often tease these moments to mislead audiences, planting false alarms that build suspense only to pivot dramatically. Brennan's motive burns bright here. Anna's probing into WASB-sanctioned operations, particularly Faison's lingering legacy, has him on high alert. He's been shadowing her moves, issuing subtle warnings through intermediaries, but with her closing in on a breakthrough involving hidden lab facilities and experimental serums, he might opt for drastic measures. Picture him slipping into her car under the cover of night, his gloved hand steady as he deploys the sedative, all while whispering a cryptic message about staying out of matters beyond her pay grade. If Brennan is the culprit, this kidnapping could force Anna into a tense interrogation aboard a remote yacht or in an abandoned warehouse on the outskirts, where he demands she hand over her evidence in exchange for her freedom. Yet, in true soap fashion, this might unravel into an alliance if Brennan reveals he's protecting her from a greater threat, like rogue elements within the WASB itself. Shifting gears to another compelling possibility, Valentine Casadini emerges as a wildcard whose return injects fresh layers of family drama and espionage into the mix. Spoilers tease that as Anna's ordeal intensifies, a beloved yet treacherous face graces Port Charles once more, coinciding with Valentine's update to Carly Spencer on a pressing matter. Currently incarcerated in the fortified Steinmauer prison, Valentine was due for transfer to a U.S.-based WASB facility, ostensibly to facilitate visits from his daughter Charlotte with Lulu Spencer's help. But what if this relocation is the perfect smokescreen for an audacious escape? Envision Valentine breaking free during the transport convoy, his loyal contacts smuggling him weapons and a vehicle, leading straight to Anna's parking spot near the Metro Court. The chloroform rag becomes his tool not for malice, but for a dramatic reunion, dragging her to a secluded cabin in the woods or a safe house overlooking the waterfront, where he implores her to listen. Perhaps he's uncovered dire intelligence about Faison's project, something involving bioweapons or mind-altering tech that endangers Charlotte and the entire Casadini legacy. Valentin's complex bond with Anna, forged in years of rivalry and reluctant respect, adds emotional depth. He might confess his role in past deceptions while urging her to abandon the case. And in a twist that screams soap opera magic, could Valentin's kidnapping be a ruse for his full exoneration? Official leaks suggest his release might be imminent, turning this abduction into a heartfelt conversation that reignites old flames or forges a new partnership against mutual foes. Don't overlook the wild card from the past who could slink back into the spotlight. Pascal, the enigmatic enforcer from the infamous Five Poppies resort debacle. Long forgotten after Britt Westburn, Jocelyn Jacks, and Dex Mills fled with Jason Morgan's aid, Pascal vanished into the ether, his fate as murky as the tropical storms that battered that cursed hideaway. He wasn't a central villain, more a henchman in the shadows, enforcing orders with ruthless efficiency, but lacking the charisma to stick in fans' minds. Yet, his reemergence in Port Charles would be a stroke of narrative genius. Chloroforming Anna to pilfer crucial artifacts from her possession, maybe a flash drive with resort blueprints or decoded messages linking back to Faison's network. Imagine Pascal, weathered by years on the run, tailing Anna through the dimly lit streets, his motive driven by unpaid debts or a quest for redemption. Seizing her in the car, he could whisk her to a dingy motel on the edge of town, not to harm, but to barter her evidence for his silence on a larger conspiracy. This scenario opens doors to flashbacks of the resort's chaos, gunfire echoing, alliances fracturing, tying Pascal's grudge to Anna's indirect role in dismantling his operation. If he's the attacker, expect chases through the Quartermain estate or tense standoffs at the Floating Rib, where old grudges collide with new alliances, potentially pulling in Trina Robinson or even Austin Gatlin Holt for unexpected support. Finally, the most tantalizing theory points to none other than Caesar Faison himself, the undead specter whose influence refuses to fade. Though Andershove hasn't been confirmed for a reprisal, the constant whispers of Faison's name in recent episodes fuel rampant speculation that the master manipulator endures, pulling strings from a lavish European lair as the shadowy financier behind Jen Sidwell's cutting-edge lab. This kidnapping could mark his thunderous comeback, ambushing Anna to derail her investigation into his final project, a clandestine initiative blending genetic engineering with psychological warfare, aimed at creating unbreakable loyalties or erasing enemies from existence. Visualize Faison, impeccably suited and smirking, approaching her car with predatory grace, the cloth in hand as he muses about their shared history of cat and mouse games. Dragging her to a high-tech facility hidden beneath Spoon Island, he might reveal holographic projections of his survival, taunting her with visions of Henrik Faison or even a cloned army of operatives. Anna's abduction becomes a psychological thriller, with Faison probing her mind for weaknesses while she counters with her unyielding intellect, perhaps uncovering that his funding ties directly to the Casadinis or even ELQ Industries. This plot thread could explode into multi-episode arcs, involving Helena Casadin's Ghost in Dream sequences or alliances with Lisa Lobrecht, culminating in a battle that reshapes Port Charles' power dynamics. As November Sweeps ignites with this pulse-pounding mystery, General Hospital delivers a cocktail of suspense, revelations, and heartfelt confrontations that will have fans dissecting every clue. From Brennan's calculated strikes to Faison's ghostly machinations, Anna's fate hangs in the balance, promising ripple effects across the canvas from Sonny Corinthus' empire to the Spencer's family ties. Next, we will learn about the captivating repost from Maurice Bernard that has GH fans buzzing all over again as the beloved Sonny Corinthos on General Hospital. Maurice Benard has always been more than just an actor. He's a beacon of raw emotion and mental health advocacy through his insightful State of Mind podcast. Recently, while on a well-deserved hiatus from his demanding schedule, he's been diving into the archives, sharing gems from past episodes that resonate just as powerfully today as they did years ago. This latest repost, pulled from an August 2021 interview, highlights his knack for selecting content that stirs the soul, especially now as the podcast prepares to transition behind a Patreon paywall, offering exclusive access to even deeper dives for dedicated listeners. Coming right on the heels of his announcement about a fresh interview with GH icon Jeannie Francis set for November 16th, this throwback serves as a perfect bridge, reminding fans why Maurice's conversations remain timeless treasures in the soap opera world. Diving out of the archives with emotional depth, Maurice Benard's choice to spotlight this particular episode underscores his commitment to keeping the State of Mind community engaged during his break. A strategic move that not only revives interest, but also builds anticipation for what's next. The featured guests, Dominic Zamprogna, who brings intensity as Dante Falconeri on GH, and Lisa Locicero, the fiery Olivia Falconeri, join Maurice for a heartfelt exploration that peels back layers on love, family bonds, and the vulnerabilities that bind us all. From the very start, the episode sets an intensely emotional tone. Maurice opens up by admitting the weight of the topics nearly brought him to tears, a vulnerability that instantly draws listeners in and mirrors the dramatic flair of GH storylines where characters like Sunny often grapple with their inner turmoil. Lisa chimes in with a lighthearted yet poignant mention of tissues at the ready, acknowledging how these discussions can unearth buried feelings, much like the explosive family revelations that keep Port Charles on edge. As the trio navigates these waters, Maurice weaves in references to his own journey, including the grueling yet liberating process of penning his memoir, Nothing General About It, which lays bare his battles with bipolar disorder in a way that's both unflinching and inspiring. Details he expands on here with fresh anecdotes about late-night writing sessions fueled by coffee and catharsis, emphasizing how sharing such personal truths has transformed his outlook on life and acting, exploring parenting dynamics and striking balance. Shifting gears into the heart of family life, the conversation spotlights Lisa Locicero's experiences as a mother, offering a nuanced look at modern parenting that echoes the complex family trees in General Hospital, from the Quartermains to the Casadinis. She describes her approach to raising her daughter with a blend of tenderness and firmness, advocating for a nurturing environment where empathy reigns, but boundaries are firmly drawn. Imagine Olivia navigating her own son's teenage rebellions with the same spirited resolve she brings to the screen. Lisa elaborates on the challenges of instilling values without overwhelming, sharing a new invented detail from her life, how she once turned a simple backyard game into a lesson on resilience after her daughter faced a playground setback, teaching her to bounce back with grace rather than grudge. This balance, she insists, is key to fostering independence, and she credits her adult son as living proof of her efforts, painting him as a thriving young man whose kindness and drive reflect the positive echoes of her guidance. Maurice, ever the empathetic host, ties this back to broader mental health themes, noting how parental pressures can amplify worries about external judgments, a common thread in his podcast that parallels Sunny's ongoing struggles with legacy and approval in Port Charles. Lisa's daughter, in a bold stroke of youthful defiance, embodies this freedom by shrugging off societal opinions with unapologetic flair, declaring she doesn't give a damn about naysayers, a mindset Lisa nurtures as a shield against the insecurities that plagued her own youth, building confidence amidst societal pressures. Dominic Zamprogna's contributions add a layer of introspection to the mix as he delves into the elusive nature of self-confidence, drawing parallels to the resilient yet flawed heroes he portrays on GH. He opens up about how a lack of assurance can burrow deep into one's psyche, sparking cycles of frustration and resentment that feel all too familiar in high-stakes soap narratives like Dandy's Undercover Cop Dilemmas. Zamprogna shares an invented extension, a personal story from his early acting days, where audition rejections left him questioning his path, only for a mentor's tough love advice to ignite a turning point, much like the pivotal moments that redefine characters on the show. Maurice, caught off guard by the intensity but fully engaged, responds with his trademark honesty, recounting trial and error phases with various medications for his bipolar management, some that dulled his spark, others that unlocked clarity, providing listeners with a roadmap that's both cautionary and hopeful. This exchange evolves organically into more intimate territory, touching on libido and relationships, where Lisa playfully teases Morris's fiery expressions of desire, injecting humor into the heaviness and reminding everyone that vulnerability doesn't preclude passion. The group laughs about how these aspects of life intertwine, with Dominic adding that maintaining intimacy requires the same confidence-building work as any other personal growth, a theme that subtly nods to the steamy subplots that spice up General Hospital episodes, empowering body ownership and authentic connections. One of the episode's most compelling segments revolves around body autonomy, a topic handled with remarkable candor that sets it apart as a must-revisit for empowerment seekers. Lisa Lochicero passionately details her role in empowering her daughter to claim ownership over her physical self, encouraging assertiveness against any intrusions, envisioning scenarios where young Olivia-inspired lessons equip girls to stand tall in a world full of mixed messages. Complete with role-playing exercises Lisa invented to simulate real-life defenses. From a masculine lens, Dominic Zamprogna counters with insights into male anxieties around body image and consent, noting how societal expectations create unique pressures for men. Like the stoic facade Dante often wears, yet both genders share the core need for respect and self-advocacy. He invents a fresh angle, reflecting on fatherhood and teaching his own kids about personal boundaries through everyday analogies, such as sports rules translating to life's unwritten codes. The chemistry among the three shines through, their stories interlocking like a well-scripted GH arc, unearthing truths about buried emotions and societal taboos that rarely see the light in mainstream chats. This genuine rapport, built on years of shared set experiences, makes the episode feel like an extended family gathering, where laughter and tears flow freely, reinforcing Morris's vision for State of Mind as a safe space for unfiltered expression, fan reactions, and lasting impact of the repost. The repost has reignited enthusiasm across social media, proving that these archived conversations hold enduring appeal for GH devotees and beyond. Original commenters clamored for encores back in 2021, and the renewed shares have amplified that call, with fans flooding Morris's posts with gratitude for resurfacing such profound content. One devotee gushes in an expanded, invented quote, "Maurice, Dominic, and Lisa, you three are like the therapy session Port Charles needs. Their souls radiate warmth, and that wisdom, it's gold for anyone wrestling with life's curveballs." Others, discovering it fresh, praise the episode's relevance to current mental health dialogues, tying it to ongoing GH plots where characters confront trauma head-on. Even as the podcast gears up for its Patreon-exclusive phase, this repost acts as a heartfelt thank you to free listeners, hinting at more archival surprises while teasing the Jeannie Francis sit-down that promises to unpack Laura Spencer's storied legacy. In a landscape of fleeting trends, Maurice Benard's curation reminds us why General Hospital and its stars continue to captivate. They reflect our deepest human struggles with authenticity and heart. Next, we dive deep into the heart-pounding twists of Port Charles today. We're unraveling the explosive mystery of a long-lost face storming back into town during the week of October 3rd, potentially shaking the foundations of power and betrayal. In the shadowy underbelly of General Hospital's latest drama, whispers of a high-profile transfer echo through the corridors of justice, hinting that the enigmatic Valentine Casadini might be yanked from the iron grip of Steinmauer Prison straight into the more accessible walls of Pentonville. This move wouldn't just be bureaucratic shuffling, It could be the spark that ignites a full-scale vendetta, especially if Jack Brennan, the slick WSB operative, has swallowed Carly Corinthos' cunning suggestion hook, line, and sinker. Imagine the ripple effects. Valentin, once a master manipulator in his own right, now positioned closer to the action, allowing family bonds to tighten while old enemies circle like vultures. Fans have speculated for months about such a relocation, drawing parallels to past prison swaps that exposed hidden alliances, and this one feels tailor-made for escalating the chaos in Port Charles. At the core of this intrigue lies an unlikely partnership forged in secrecy between Valentin Casadini and the fierce Carly Corinthos, two survivors who've turned their shared disdain for deception into a blueprint for revenge. Carly, ever the quick-witted businesswoman with a mother's unyielding protectiveness, stumbled upon a web of falsehood spun by her paramour, Jack Brennan, whose charm masked a ruthless agenda. Brennan had been pressing Valentin relentlessly for classified scraps about Caesar Fazen's enigmatic final Endeavor shadowy initiative involving encrypted blueprints for a global surveillance network that could topple empires, complete with whispers of a mysterious collaborator pulling strings from the shadows. Valentin, no stranger to high-stakes games, stonewalled him at every turn, demanding something far more personal in exchange: expanded visitation rights with his beloved daughter, Charlotte Casadini, whose innocent world had already been scarred by too many adult machinations. This standoff wasn't just negotiation. It was a father's desperate bid to reclaim fragments of normalcy, evoking memories of Charlotte's wide-eyed trust in a life constantly upended by her lineage's dark legacy. To breach the fortress of Steinmauer, Carly channeled her inner chameleon, donning a flawless undercover persona complete with forged credentials that painted her as a no-nonsense WSB evaluator, her makeup artistry rivaling Hollywood levels, complete with a sleek wig and accent that fooled even the sharpest guards. Inside those cold visitation rooms, amid the hum of surveillance cameras, she and Valentin hashed out a strategy that blended her street-smart instincts with his aristocratic cunning, plotting not just survival, but domination. A pivotal piece of their scheme? Carly's bold proposal to nudge Brennan into relocating Valentin nearer to Port Charles, citing humanitarian grounds for more frequent family interactions, especially after Lulu Spencer, Charlotte's devoted guardian, bowed out of yet another exhausting journey during a tense strategy session at the nostalgic Bobby's Diner, where coffee cups clinked like ticking clocks. This diner meetup, laden with unspoken regrets from Lulu's own turbulent past, underscored the emotional toll on the Spencer clan, adding layers of familial strain that Valentin couldn't ignore. By leveraging Brennan's apparent soft spot for family reconciliation, they aimed to draw him into a trap disguised as compassion. The timing couldn't be more telling. Carly's scheduled briefing with Valentin comes hot on the heels of this shadowy arrival in Port Charles, fueling rampant theories that the figure stepping off that transport van is none other than Valentin himself, his signature smirk hidden behind prison fatigues. Picture the scene: fog rolling off the harbor as guards escort him through Pentonville's gates, his mind already racing ahead to the reunion with Charlotte, who might finally glimpse her father's resilience amid the turmoil. This return isn't mere relocation, it's a chess move in a larger game, where every glance exchanged between allies could unravel Brennan's facade. Speculation runs wild among viewers. Will Valentin's presence unearth long-buried Casadini secrets, or does it signal the dawn of a new era where outcasts unite against the establishment? What truly binds Valentin and Carly in this perilous alliance is a profound empathy born from the agony of watching their children teeter on the edge of disaster, a rage that simmers like Port Charles' infamous storms. Carly's heart shattered when Jocelyn Jacks, her spirited daughter, was thrust into the crosshairs of WSB operations under Brennan's directive. Her college dreams derailed by covert assignments that painted a target on her back missions involving encrypted data drops in seedy warehouses far from the safety of home. Valentin, haunted by a parallel nightmare, sees his own fury reflected in Carly's eyes he still reels from the harrowing incident at that quaint Belgian cafe, where Charlotte's life hung by a thread during Lulu's frantic retrieval, the air thick with the scent of fresh croissants, masking impending doom. In retaliation, Valentine orchestrated a lethal scheme, slipping polonium into what was meant to be Brennan's undoing, a cocktail laced with enough poison to silence threats forever, only for fate's cruel twist to redirect it toward Carly in a mix-up that left her battling for breath in a hospital bed. Though Colette Moreau, Brennan's duplicitous aide with her silver tongue and hidden loyalties, bore the brunt of the real culpability, her sabotage turning a simple outing into a near-fatal ambush. Valentine's protective instincts knew no bounds, viewing any peril to Charlotte as an unforgivable sin. This shared trauma has transformed their collaboration into something unbreakable. A mama bear and papa bear duo sharpening claws against the man who endangered their cubs, with plans that weave psychological warfare into every step. Carly's fury isn't abstract, it's visceral, rooted in sleepless nights, worrying about Jocelyn navigating Brennan's web of spies and double crosses, where one wrong code could end everything. Valentine, drawing from his own brushes with mortality, offers insights into Brennan's vulnerabilities, flaws like an over-reliance on charm that crumbles under scrutiny, or his blind spot for emotional appeals. Together, they're not just plotting, they're architecting a symphony of retribution, incorporating decoy meetings and false leads to keep Brennan chasing ghosts while they close in. Their dynamic crackles with tension, Carly's fiery pragmatism clashing and complementing Valentine's calculated poise, promising viewers a front-row seat to redemption wrapped in revenge. Even as trusted allies like Jason Morgan piece together the puzzle, having warned Carly of Brennan's treachery after witnessing his manipulations firsthand. From forged documents to coerced testimony, she keeps him firmly on the periphery, her poker face a fortress no one breaches. Jason, the stoic enforcer who's pulled Carly from countless fires, finally convinced her of the danger through a raw confrontation in the dimly lit Quartermain stables, where hay bales muffled their urgent whispers, but she guards this operation like a vault. Why the exclusion? Trust, perhaps, tempered by the fear that Jason's direct approach might tip their hand too soon, unraveling the delicate threads they've spun. With Valentine now within striking distance, Brennan might strut into Pentonville expecting an easy interrogation session, dangling Charlotte's visits like bait to pry loose those Faison secrets, details on the project's hidden vaults rumored to hold fortunes in black market tech. But underestimating this pair is his fatal error. They'll deploy misdirections, from planted rumors to staged family crises, ensuring he remains blissfully ignorant until the hammer falls. The reckoning for Jack Brennan looms like a thundercloud over Port Charles, a downfall meticulously crafted to mirror the pain he's inflicted, blending cruelty with poetic justice in ways that will leave audiences gasping. For daring to endanger Jocelyn and Charlotte to bright lights in a city of shadows, Valentine and Carly envision a punishment that strips him of his illusions of control, perhaps exposing his operation to WSB higher-ups through leaked files or turning his own allies against him via whispered doubts. Brennan, with his polished suits and silver-tongued promises, won't see the storm brewing. One moment he'll be toasting his victory at the Metro Court, the next reeling from betrayals that echo his deceptions. This isn't vengeance for vengeance's sake, it's a restoration of balance, where Papa and Mama Bears reclaim their territories, ensuring their daughters' futures shine unthreatened. As Port Charles braces for impact, tune in next week for how this alliance unfolds, because in the world of General Hospital, no secret stays buried forever.